Hey guys, Saf here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. So we have the final Heroes Path of this Titan event, which is just under 5 weeks from being completed. And it is the Kael's Path. So if you started your free-to-play series like I did with my Kael, this is much like the path you've been waiting for since all these paths have been coming out. It is again kind of like the similar model, similar rewards, similar structure. It's get artifacts, so it's dungeon divers and upgrading artifacts, or artifact enhancement. And instead of a legendary book this time, we're getting a 5-star chicken, which I don't think is as good as a legendary book, but it's still better than 50 clearing points. So it's still a reward that potentially is worth getting for, considering you only have to go down one side of the path, right? So on my free-to-play, I can go down the right-hand side, get the 3-star souls because I've already got the champion, or I could go down the left and I could get the ancient shard. It's totally up to you. We're going to do a quick analysis. You know, I've done this in previous videos. There's not a lot to go through. Nothing has really changed, but we're going to do an analysis anyway. So the path points are basically the same thing. You get the same amount of coins as you do for upgrading as you've done for all the other heroes paths that have come before it. Same as getting the coins from dungeons. So what it generally works out is kind of this analysis, where if you want to get all of the left-hand path, just the left-hand side, not the bonus at the bottom, not the 5-star chicken, then it's around about 12,200 in the most efficient way. The right-hand path is a little bit cheaper, and then obviously if you want the paths with the chicken, then obviously it's about 26,350. So that's both of them. So if you want to go down the path and just get the chicken, it'll be sort of 3,000 on top of these. It works out roughly around about 21 to about 25 million silver to be able to get that 5-star chicken. If you just do it exclusive through artifact enhancements, obviously if you put in some dungeon runs here as well, then you can get a few runs, but dungeon divers is not really the source of coins here. Whenever you look at these hero paths, there's always one that is much more dominant than the other, either champion training, summon rush, or, to be honest, artifact enhancements. The other part of the coin acquisition tends to be more additive on top, a little bit on the side, supportive coins. So you can see, like, if I want to get just the left-hand side, I'm talking nearly 400 stage 20 runs. It's a lot of dungeon runs to be doing just that exclusively. So you'll want to basically do a lot of artifact enhancement here, with a bit of dungeon runs on the side to kind of fill up the coins. It's pretty easy to do if there is, you know, if you're going for that ice golem tournament, or if you've got a lot of silver going on, it doesn't take you too much effort. These 4 paths that we've had around these champions compared to other heroes paths are about 30% of the total amount of coins. Normally they put them around about 80 to 100,000 coins. You only need about on total 32,000 coins here. So they're much more accessible, and I think they've scaled the rewards as, you know, appropriately, because if we look at what you get in here, it's basically low tier rewards. It's a few rare books, it's 3-star chickens, it's some souls for the starter champions, which is cool. The biggest thing you take out of this event is the Titan event points. It normally yields the highest amount of Titan event points in a singular event, 3,000 in total. So if that's something you're interested in, you've been pushing towards, then I would do it for the Titan event points alone. The 5-star chicken is not as exciting as the legendary book, but again, it's still better than the clearing points that they were offering before. So that's kind of like a breakdown of the Kael's path. I will put this spreadsheet in a Google Sheet, although they are kind of like the same as all the other ones. There's not really much difference here. In addition to that, we've now got a new champion training event. And to be honest, I'm surprised it's taken us this long to get these chests being shown into different events. When I did the data mine for this event, there was around about 10 to 11 different variants of each different rarity, and it confused me to begin with until I realized what they were doing. And what they are essentially doing is picking one of the variants of the rarity of the chest and putting it as the reward. So whenever we see a silver chest, there could be 11 different versions of the rewards that come out of that silver chest, and the same thing with gold. I think diamond and platinum has less variations, but what I expected them to do, which is what they've started doing here, is start putting these chests in replacement of rewards. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing if the chest reward quantities are relevant to what you're replacing. So if I'm replacing some forged charms with this chest, then I think that's a reasonable change, because it's not like the forged charms are going to make a massive difference to your account, and these might actually give you better odds. Like you might prefer the 3-star chicken, you might prefer the ancient shard, you probably wouldn't want the silver necessarily, but you might prefer the other rewards. But if you're going to be taking the epic book here and then putting a chest to roll the epic book, that's not necessarily as good as the silver chest, right? Because Sure, I might prefer the chicken or the ancient shard, but I'd rather have a guaranteed epic book than have the chance at silver. So I'm happy if they use lower tier chests on lower tier rewards. I think that's an okay swap. Like if they decided they didn't want to give me a 6-star Chaos Orb, but they wanted to give me like a platinum chest, which has a chance to get it, but other stuff, then I'm okay with that, because Chaos Orb is not necessarily the end of the world reward. But I think things like epic books, shards, you know, those are the things you shouldn't really be substituting. We still get a legendary book in this sort of, how was it, 4-day training event, so it's still worth doing for if you want legendary books. There's also 2,000 Titan event points here, so you know, if you're falling behind a little bit, then something you should probably consider. So I just wanted to show the odds of the chest that they've chosen here. As I mentioned, they have picked one of the variants of the chest, and I've actually looked at what you get out of it, and I've paired it with the one that is available. So this is going to be the odds for silver chest. They've chosen chest 2 of the different variants, and these are the odds that you're going to get out of that. So you've got a 34.23% is going to be one of the gems. It's not going to be like 40. There's like 4 different versions of it, but the total combined odds of gems is going to be 34.23. Silver is 27%. So basically you've got a 50-50 chance that one of them is going to be currency. There's a 6% chance it's going to be a rare book, 4.5% is going to be the 10 brews, a 1% chance it's the Chaos or the Ancient Shard, and a 4.5% chance it's going to be the chicken, with a 9% chance it is the XP boost. So what you tend to find with these earlier chests is predominantly half of the odds are paired to gems and silver. 9 times out of 10, that's what you're going to walk away with for the average player when they pick it up. So yeah, that's the silver chest. And then for the gold chest, they've picked variant 1. So you can see the odds again, very heavy gem and silver odds. We're talking 35 plus 29. That's around about 54 to 55% odds that is going to be currency. Or is it 64? Something of that nature. Math on a Sunday is never a good idea. We do get a 10% chance it's an ancient shard. There's kind of like a 3% chance you're going to get Chaos Ore, a 2.6% chance you're going to get chickens, and then it's a 15% chance you're going to get some form of XP boost. But here's what I was saying. It's only a 1% chance now, or just under 2%, that you're going to get the epic book, which in previous training events, that might have been guaranteed. So that's my only concern with substituting chests in the wrong place for the wrong rewards. Substitute them for rewards in the first tier if you want, or increase the quality of the chest. There are variants that give a lot higher epic book rate, or a legendary book rate, or something of that nature. I think that's more appropriate. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see what they say. I don't mind them messing with the reward structure, so long as the reward structure is still a chance to be good. Whereas this feels like I've lost my epic book for a 60-odd% chance I'm going to get some gems or silver. That's not as good to me. That doesn't feel as good. And that is a trend we have been noticing. I'm now at around about 50,000 points, but I need another 27,500. So even though it seems like I'm doing well, I'm on the last point of the milestone, they exponentially grow the milestone points within the milestone, right? So when we did this one, it was only 500, then it was 1,000, then it was 1,500, then it was 2,000. Now it's 2,500 per thing. So the last 2 milestones are exponentially harder than the first 2 milestones. So I still need a significant amount of Titan points, considering I've only got 50,000 in sort of 8 weeks. I've only got 50,000 points. That means I've got to pretty much go full ham to get the last one. I can't afford to really drop much if I really want to get the Sacred Shard based on those averages. We did do an average video about a week ago. I'll probably do one towards the middle of March, maybe when it's like 2 weeks to go, 1 week to go, so we have a good accurate estimation as to how much is left. You know, they might give us some more bonus points, but right now it looks like it's trending to around about 90 to 100,000 total anniversary points that they've made available. The last 2 things I want to shout out here, because we are doing a bit of a overall like what's going on mid-fusion kind of event cycle. There is a void shard at the top of Ice Golem alongside some player points and some anniversary points. Now I know a lot of people don't like these kind of rewards in the sense they say that it's not very exciting, but I think 3,000 points is worth it for the void shard, especially if you think about the fact that you're getting some dungeon diver points for that Kael path, which will give you a 5-star chicken and a bunch of other rewards. And 100 player points is actually quite a lot considering how long it takes you to get player points, and also 1,500 Titan points. So I think that's worth doing just up to the 3,000. I don't necessarily think it's worth going crazy, but you can get some 6-star chaos ore there. That's not so bad. And I would say this particular Kael's Path pack. Now I've reduced my spending, as you can see. I'm not getting the biggest whale pack. There's a bigger whale pack here, but that's a lot of energy and multi battles for if you spend some money in the game. There's one of the better energy packs in the game. These kind of Kael power packs. I know when I did the Gaelic Path, I picked up one of these and I had energy for about a week trying to get rid of it all. So I do think if you're looking to push some dungeons or you just want some extra energy to push the minnow, it's one of the better energy offer packs that are in the game. So yeah, so we're kind of in this like midway point at the moment. We've finished the heroes paths now for the Titan events. We're getting the first legendary champions, which is going to be the Supreme Elhain. I haven't really talked about it, but my opinion is basically, I think she's an okay champion, but I don't think she's meta defining or meta changing or deals with any of the meta. Like I think she's being positioned as, because she doesn't ignore any defense, she doesn't ignore Stone Skin, and she has no way of dealing with a very slow Stone Skin Ultimate Death Knight, because her rotation is A3 single target. Well, if that doesn't kill anyone, you don't get the A2, and you can't debuff because the damage on the A2 is going to scale off debuffs. You can't debuff it, it's not going to do enough damage. So I think she's kind of going to be like one of those, a bit like Vlad, but not as good. Vlad, when he came out as a fusion, everyone's like, oh, it's a void legendary, he's not good enough as an arena nuker. But actually, Vlad was good because of turn meter reduction. He's now even better because he's been boosted with an AoE decreased defense. She doesn't really bring any debuffs, nor does she bring any buffs, nor does she bring any self buffs. You know, it's a bit like she's very selfish as a champion to put into a team. Unless her damage is like astronomical, I can't see her being used over champions that do some damage but bring utility to your team. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm not necessarily enthralled about it, and being a void legendary, it makes it hard to get other really strong void legendaries. You've got to think, you know, how can you compare her to Jorgid the Breaker, or Jorgid the Broken as I like to call him. So yeah, that's kind of like we're starting to see those legendary champions come through now as we're coming towards the actual anniversary. And probably next week, I guess, we're going to get hard dungeons. I thought it was going to be last week, but I was wrong, so maybe it's next week, who knows. But I'm really excited for hard dungeons. I'm going to be doing content around specific teams. I've got some more testing to do tomorrow on stream on Monday. We're going to be looking at Vlad and Constantine for Ice Golem wave clearing. We're going to be looking at a few other champions and different team combinations, see what we can do. And then I will start putting out some content on specific teams for those dungeons once I have more of an idea as to what speeds we're going to be facing, what wave content we're going to be facing. Right now, it's all a bit fragmented. We don't really have the information available to us. So there's a little bit of an update on a nice Sunday. I keep saying I'm going to take Sundays off, but the last 2 Sundays haven't been very appropriate, especially last week when we got Saturday news. So next week we'll be back on no Sunday raid probably. But until then, guys, I'll catch you in the next video.